Nation of Fitin10, welcome to day 2 of the spring Fitin10 challenge. And I noticed today in Slack somebody posted about MyFitnessPal not functioning properly. They couldn't add, I'm not quite sure, there was a bunch of things mentioned, but the gist of it was you couldn't add a meal, you couldn't add recipes, you couldn't add a food. I will let you know that I just tried it, and it's 3:30 in the afternoon here. I tried it and I was able to add in a recipe. So add it and save it and input it. I was also able to create a food, save it and add it in. So it works okay right now for myself. Granted, I do have the premium version, so maybe there's a difference there. Maybe you're using the regular version, the free version. But let me know. I did respond in Slack. Let me know if it's been fixed. Cardio and heart rate values. Just a reminder to you, you do not have to, let me rephrase this, excuse me. Your heart rate, you can take your heart rate higher than the values that I've listed. So when you're doing your warm-up phase, if you want to warm up harder, you're more than welcome to. When you do your interval phases, right, your intervals start after 10 minutes of your warm-up phase. Okay, your warm-up phase is going at a minimum of your lower heart rate value for the duration of 10 minutes. Then you get into your intervals, right? We've got 6 intervals this week. During your intervals, you're gonna reach that higher heart rate value. If you wanna go higher than that heart rate, that's totally fine. Again, the heart rates are just minimums. Protein allotment, I've had a couple people contact me and say, I'm eating more protein than this. And that's very good. Now, these are coming from people who've done the Fitin10 before, so they've kept their protein allotments higher. So kudos to you. If you are one of these people and you have not reached out to me, reach out to me and perhaps I will adjust your numbers. I did adjust some people's numbers. Okay, generally speaking, in the beginning, I do go a little bit lower protein because people tend not to eat the amount of protein that I want to work them up to eventually. Reminder as well, I want you to be within 10% of your macronutrient intake. So if you get 100 grams of protein, let's just say you get 100 grams of protein per day, I want you to be between 90 and 110 grams of protein. And I do want to just add something to this. Less is not necessarily better. I know a lot of you are you're getting your protein, which is great. That's awesome. But you're not getting the amount of fat and or carbohydrates that I've given you. So try to get those numbers in. They are important. Less is not better. There is downfalls to creating a greater deficit, a greater calorie deficit, especially if your calories before the challenge were much higher, okay? Which you probably don't know because I don't imagine you were weighing out your food and putting it in an app. But there is some loss of metabolic inefficiency, okay? We'll talk about this in a future video. But just remember, less is not necessarily better, okay? So try to get all your macros in. Accountability, we didn't talk about this yesterday. So 2 things right off the bat I'm gonna really encourage you to do. Do your feedback form today. Also, send me your food journals. People have already sent me their food journals, and this is awesome. And I've taken a look at them. I've given them feedback, or maybe we're in some sort of dialogue. Any questions you have, and I'm expecting a lot, send them through. Don't just assume that it's whatever you assume it to be. If you have any questions, let me know. Even if you think they're dumb, there's no, I know it sounds trite, but there's no dumb question, okay? It's just important that you know what you're supposed to do. That's all that matters to me, okay? And even if I've mentioned it a couple times, it doesn't matter. I just want you to know, and let's move forward and have you be on the right track, or at least as close to the right track as possible. All right? So, send me your feedback this evening. There may be some parts in there where, listing your struggles. There might be some parts in there that maybe just are not quite applicable yet because it's only the second day. Regardless, send it in to me. Do your best. If you don't have anything to say, you can just say I don't have anything to say, or it's not applicable, whatever. Okay, let's get to the message of the day. What is today's message of the day? If you fail to plan, you plan to fail. If you fail to plan, you plan to fail. Now, listen, some is always better than none, okay? But I really want to push you guys as far as you can in terms of meeting all of the components in this challenge, okay? Especially the diet. The diet, obviously, it's gonna be the biggest struggle. You've got to plan with your diet. You've got to plan with your diet and make sure, as best as you can, that the reality of what you're consuming is reflected in your journal. That is, your journal entries accurately reflect what you're consuming. Now, it's very possible that you might be doing something and you don't know it, like you're doing something wrong and you're inputting it and you think everything's right. And obviously, there's no way around that. But if you have any concerns, or if you think that something potentially could be off, just write me and ask me. I'm going through Slack multiple times a day, okay? But in a general sense here, I really want to emphasize you've got to plan out all your food. You've got to plan out your workouts. You've got to plan out your cardio sessions in advance. We had one winner of this challenge. This is going back, and I apologize if you've heard this story before, because this goes back maybe 4, 5, 6 challenges ago. Well, definitely, yeah, it's probably 2 years ago, so probably at least 6 challenges. Had a student, 22 years old, worked, it sounds unbelievable, going to school, taking 4 courses, worked 3 other jobs, and was doing the challenge. Right before the challenge even started, she put a calendar up and she started to put everything in. The day she was gonna make her food, the day she was gonna work out, the day she was gonna do cardio. And of course, she's putting this in her schedule because her schedule's already inundated with all these other things she has to do. So, but this is really, really important, because as soon as you put in your calendar, it's more likely to occur, because it's like an appointment, and you will find yourself acting in greater accountability to it. Okay, so put it in your calendar and then act on it. Okay, plan out your food. You've got to plan out your food. All right, positive energy, positive vibes, believe in yourself, for the love of God, give some gratitude, and I'll talk to you all tomorrow.